Let's talk about something that I don't think both of us had ever thought in a million years would happen. Hell has officially frozen over. Jeff Jarrett has been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. The WWE confirmed the NBC Sports announcement, and it was interesting because there was a list that was leaked out by Brad Shepard early in December, and on the list was Goldberg, which was already confirmed, Ivory also confirmed, Dudley Boyz confirmed, and the two that had yet to been confirmed is Bam Bam Bigelow and Kid Rock for their celebrity wing. So Jeff Jarrett, this induction just seems straight out of left field. Jarrett did an interview with TMZ, and he said that he was contacted to be a part of the WWE Hall of Fame back in January. And it's interesting as well. I'm assuming that the talks may have started because there was the stuff with Jarrett going to rehab, but it was WWE-sponsored rehab. Maybe that's also where communications started to go there. Let's get to your thoughts, Graham. Jeff Jarrett going to the WWE Hall of Fame. Do you see Jarrett as a Hall of Famer?
You know, that's been a pretty popular discussion over the last number of days. I mean, is he Hall of Fame worthy for the WWE Hall of Fame? Obviously, he's a member of the TNA Hall of Fame as well, in addition to Kurt Angle, Sting, the Dudley Boyz, all of whom are now in the WWE Hall of Fame. But nonetheless, in my personal opinion, I think so. I mean, he's not a slam dunk like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but considering what he's done in WWE as a multi-time Intercontinental Champion, former European champion, being a memorable character, a very memorable character throughout the 90s. I don't know if I would go so far as to say he's one of the greatest IC champions of all time, but he held that belt multiple times. Maybe Miz level, you know, maybe like the Miz equivalent to that Intercontinental Championship throughout the 1990s. And then he was obviously the chosen one in WCW, their world champion multiple times, maybe not deservedly. I don't think Jeff Jarrett, and I've always maintained this, whether it was WCW or Impact or whatever, should have never been the top guy. Jeff Jarrett is good. He's not the guy good. So I would have never put the top championship on him. But his accomplishments speak for themselves. Obviously, they would never acknowledge it. But the guy started up his own company that is still running today, which a lot of people are shocked at. But it is Impact under a new name. But he did start up TNA in 2002. And he had a lot of success with that. And he obviously won a lot of championships over there, which they would never acknowledge. But to me, the WWE Hall of Fame takes in whatever they own. They take into consideration, they account for whatever they, you know, that they own the rights to, including WCW, ECW, blah, blah, blah. He obviously had a lot of success in WWE and in WCW as well. And you can always go back to the argument, oh, they have Coco Beware in there. They have Rikishi in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, that's not the greatest argument because they just put in random people whoever they really wish. But that being said, in my opinion, I do think Jeff Jarrett is a WWE Hall of Fame worthy inductee. And if nothing else, you know, the guy is seemingly back on good terms with the company. And never say never. There is no such thing as burned bridges in wrestling anymore. At least with WWE, we've seen this time and time again with people like Bruno Sammartino, Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Bob Backlund, this person, that person. Just they keep on bringing back people, you know, year after year. Goldberg's another one. If you told anyone 10 years ago that Goldberg and Jeff Jarrett would be going into the same class in the WWE Hall of Fame, they would have called you crazy.
Oh, man.
But WWE has somehow found a way to, you know, merge those bridges again, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I actually also believe that Jeff Jarrett is a Hall of Famer. I agree as well in terms of being the top guy and putting the top championship on. And I do see that Miz level argument. I could argue that I could see maybe Jeff Jarrett back in the day, especially the WCW early TNA days, just being a guy that would compete for the top title but never actually win it. Just somebody that you'd kind of put into that main event scene just to be sort of I guess you could say, a guy that the champion can face and just kind of extend the title reign a little bit, because he's definitely a good worker. You can go back to his time in Memphis as well. And the stuff that he did there, you can argue nepotism because of Jerry Jarrett running Memphis, but what have you. But one of the things that was also brought up as well that kind of interested me was Jarrett was the one that lost the Intercontinental Championship to China. That was over the whole ordeal with him standing up Vince for money. And China's not in the Hall of Fame. And there's been some arguments of, you know, China, the first women's Intercontinental Champion to be in, is not in the Hall of Fame, but Jeff Jarrett, who many argue, like the fact that, you know, there's a debate on whether he should be in the Hall of Fame, and more people believe China is a slam dunk Hall of Famer. Do you think at all that China has a chance to get in, or do you think that it's going to take some time as well?
No, she'll be in. She'll be in. I have no doubt about that. It's just going to take time. I know she just passed away in 2016. They like to wait a few years with people like that. It would be, I will say this, she had passed away in April of 2016 after WrestleMania that year. And after going on record, Triple H did, on the Stone Cold podcast, around 3 years or so ago, around at this point, saying that they would not induct her due to her porn past or whatever it might be. And then to just induct her after she dies, and that is not sending the right message. So they're going to wait a little while. Same thing with Macho Man. They wouldn't induct him. They wouldn't induct him. They're going to wait until he's dead and then induct him a few years after the fact. I mean, it sucks to wait until after someone passes away to induct them, but obviously that's going to be the case with China. So they will induct her at some point. They've actually brought her up on multiple occasions over the last number of years. I know Road Dogg name dropped her on the Raw 25 show, and he's best buds with Triple H, so he would not do that. There was not an idea that they would be inducting her at some point. Yeah. As you mentioned earlier, Gibby, there was that rumor that Bam Bam Bigelow will be going in this year, and usually they don't like to induct more than one deceased person per year, so I assume he'll get the nod this year, and then maybe they put her in next year. And also it's usually like one tag team, one woman, one deceased person, and stuff like that. So obviously, I think they already have Ivory. So China going in this year is pretty unlikely. But I could see them doing it next year, the year after that. It's really more a matter of when than if at this point. China is going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, I think they may actually add one more person onto the list. Obviously, we had that original list that came out. We have the addition of Jeff Jarrett. There's been rumors that Mark Henry is going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's already been confirmed or not, but there's rumors at least on him. Do you see Mark Henry maybe getting added on as well, kind of being a more recent guy that's kind of like an Edge situation, obviously other than Edge's injury, just kind of a recent guy everybody knew. He had a really dominant stretch. Could he be a guy that you could see maybe going to the Hall of Fame this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know there was talk kind of along the same lines as Mark Henry. He only really retired, I think, at WrestleMania last year, and he has not wrestled since, if I'm not mistaken. And he should have retired years ago. I mean, the guy would say year in and year out, "Oh, I'm going to retire at WrestleMania. I'm going to retire at WrestleMania." He never does. And at least at this point, it seems like he finally has. And I like Mark Henry. And I do think he is Hall of Fame worthy. He could very well go in this year. He is worthy, if only for that one stretch that he had from 2011 to 2013 as, the Hall of Pain guy and just the stretch of dominance that he was on from those 2 years. But everything else he's done, a former world champion, former ECW champion, hardcore or European champion, whatever it might have been. But yeah, the guy's held a lot of titles, had a lot of success, obviously Hall of Fame worthy in my opinion. But similar to Mark Henry, there was talk of Christian going in last year. I could see them bumping him to this year because that didn't happen last year. William Regal is another guy. I could see either one of them going in this year as well. But he's another one of those guys, like you said, like Edge, like Shawn Michaels, where they induct him a year after he's done. But yeah, Mark Henry is Hall of Fame worthy, and the same thing with him, where I feel like they might just wait until the time is right if it's not this year.
Absolutely. And one last quick thing. How much do you think the value of Global Force Gold is right now with Jeff Jarrett going into the Hall of Fame?
It's got to be through the roof. I got to sell all my Global Force Gold. I got to hold on to that stuff. It's got to be super valuable right now.
Oh man, that's a long-term investment right there. We're